Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Battle Armored Skeletor from the Masters of the Universe Origins line from Mattel. This guy was part of the first wave of the Deluxe figures. As you can see, it's a little bit wider card. You get some extra accessories here on the side, and this is at the $19.99 price point instead of the $14.99 price point, so about $5 more. But pretty excited for this one. Strike armor to reveal battle damage. Now, previously we took a look at Battle Armor He-Man. It's going to be the same principle here where you can kind of wind up the armor on the front, and then when you hit it with a weapon or accessory, it starts to flip to show more and more damage, which is pretty neat. Great artwork here on the card. Love the typical like exploding red rocks in the night sky, but you have a really cool drawing of Skeletor up here. You get a different head, extra hand, Havoc staff. This is actually a full purple sword, so not a half like they did previously, and then we have a shield here. If we spin around to the back, some pretty cool artwork here on the top. Skeletor conjured his own battle armor within the darkest depths of Snake Mountain. You can see Beastman is really freaking out over here. He is really scared about what's going on. Over here, again, it just shows how the toy works, where you wind up the chest and then hit it with an accessory to damage it. And then you can see the rest of the card here is a mix of Wave 3 of the $14.99 price point and then Wave 1 of the $19.99 price point, being He-Man and Skeletor and Clamp Champ. And then you have Battle Cat and Panther also making an appearance. So, pretty cool. Very excited for this guy. Very happy to add him to my collection. Gonna go ahead, remove him from the card, and then we'll take a closer look. Here he is out of the packaging, and he looks pretty great. I was excited to pick this one up because this was another one I never had as a kid. When I was a kid, I couldn't find the regular He-Man, but I had the Battle Armored He-Man. I had the regular Skeletor, and never got the Battle Armored Skeletor. So, this is the first time having a version of Battle Armored Skeletor, and he looks pretty great. Head sculpt is nice. Definitely not looking happy with this head sculpt. You do, of course, get another one, which has kind of an evil grin, and it's very easy to just pop the head off and pop the new one on. So if you just want to pop this off, and then we go ahead and this one should pop right on. This is actually the hardest I've ever had changing out a head with an Origins figure. Come on now. I think that's on. There we go. So he's got kind of evil grin going on there. But anyway, that's on a ball joint. As you saw, it's kind of a barbell system where there's a ball joint at the base of the neck and then one at the base of the skull. So you can look side to side, tilt a little bit side to side, certainly look up and down. You have a hinge in the shoulder as well as a rotation. You have a hinge and a rotation in the elbow as well. And then you have a hinge and a rotation in the wrist. You have the waist swivel. You can kick about that far forward. Definitely kick out more to the side. Can't kick back all that far, but there's kind of a ball joint there in the hip. You do have a hinge and a rotation in the knee, as well as a rotation at the boot, and then you have a hinge and a rocker in the ankle. So decent amount of articulation. The way the gimmick works here in the chest, if we zoom in, we just kind of push this in and rotate it down and keep going until it's all clean. And then when we go ahead and hit it with the sword, you can see it gets additional damage. There we go. And I do have to apologize. It is just the one half of the sword in the packaging. I thought it was going to be a full version, similar to the sword that came with Prince Adam with the Sky Sled. But this is actually just one half of the sword. So this is going to be exactly the same as the one that came with the original Skeletor release. And he does also have the Havoc staff. So we'll go ahead and pop that in his hand. And then he does have the shield, which just kind of goes into his hand. Might have to switch out his hand. He does come with a additional kind of grasping hand. So if we just go ahead and pop this off, and then pop this one in its place, then we can go ahead and grab onto the shield, which then kind of comes around and clips onto the forearm. Like so. This should clip on a little bit better, but it's not really doing it. I think it's because he has this piece down here, and I'm wondering if they didn't take that into account when they molded this on. Let me see what I can do with this. Yeah, it's a little difficult because that would be how his hand would normally be holding it. And then I guess it would just kind of wedge on. So, unfortunately, it can't really go all the way onto the arm because of those, I don't even know what you'd call these, but the protrusions on his forearm. But you can get it to work good enough. And I think it's cool. It's a very nice looking shield. And he can hold it well enough. So he looks pretty cool. Now you can use the Havoc staff, or you can switch it out with the sword. So we'll go ahead and pop this out and pop in the sword. And there you go. He is ready for battle with his sword and shield. And he looks really cool. It's a bit of a bummer that the shield can't go a little bit closer. And if I forced it, I probably could. I just don't want to break anything or stress any of the plastic. So not going to do that. But real quick, here is a side-by-side comparison with normal Skeletor. And really, you could switch any of the heads around. So if you really wanted to put one of these heads over here, you could absolutely pop this off and then pop this head on here if you kind of like that look better. So any of the heads are interchangeable. And honestly, I'm pretty excited because my Skeletor, my original Skeletor, actually came with kind of a bum hand, as you can see. It just, the plastic was a little warped, and I've just kind of been dealing with it. But now I can use this additional hand that came with this Skeletor and just pop that on there, and then he is back to having two normal hands. So I'm pretty psyched about that. So here they are side by side, and you can see they're very similar. This is a bit of a darker purple, though, if we kind of hold that next to it, and I know it's kind of hard to see. But in person, I mean, I don't know. The more I look at it, maybe it is the same color, but originally I thought this one was a little bit darker. It might just be a shade darker. It's not really showing up on camera at all. In person, it's a little bit... I mean, it's very close. It's very, very close. The blues are identical. But I'm thinking his purple might just be the tiniest shade darker. At least it seems that way. Maybe because it has the black around it to kind of make it seem darker. And this has just the light blue, which just kind of lightens it up. But I love that the heads and the hands are interchangeable, because now I can kind of replace my defective hand that I unfortunately got with my Skeletor. And I love that the heads are interchangeable as well, because between the three of them, you have, well, I should say between the two of them, you have 3 different heads to choose from. So you can kind of pick whatever you like. I might actually put the Screaming head over here, because that seems kind of like a more angry battle cry type of head. Yeah, I kind of like that. I think I'm going to go with that. This is the scheming, sinister Skeletor, and this is like the screaming in the heat of battle Skeletor. Yeah, I think that's going to work out nice. So yeah, like I said, love that the parts are interchangeable, and I think they both look great. 2 fantastic versions of Skeletor here. So I like this guy a lot. Definitely recommend picking him up if you can find him. I actually found this one over at Target, but I've seen him available on Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, things like that as well. So if you're having a hard time finding them in store, I definitely suggest checking out one of those online retailers so you can pick this guy up. Love the battle damage gimmick. Like I said, it was one I always wanted as a kid but never got. I had the He-Man but not the Skeletor. I just think it's a fun idea. You know, it's very simple mechanic. Just kind of roll it back and then you hit it, and it kind of shows the battle damage. It's a nice idea, very fun, and I think the armor overall looks great. Like I said, if you have the original Skeletor, you can mix and match the hands and the heads to get whatever kind of pose you think looks best. This is actually the head from the original Skeletor release. Just think it fits this body a little bit better, and I decided to give that kind of scheming head to the original Skeletor mold. So very excited for this one. Think it's great. A lot of interchangeable playability with this, and the line's just been a ton of fun so far, so I recommend checking these guys out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.